The growing number of road accidents on our roads should be something that concerns all of us, because when all is said and done, you and I are the people on these roads. And there's no telling when it could happen to you or it could happen to me. And we're winding up a 3-part series titled Where It's Not Safe, Our Roads, with a conversation with Susan Wahoo. Susan is a survivor of a road accident that sadly claimed the lives of many people in the matatu that she was traveling in. She has since recovered from that accident and set up a foundation that's all about empowerment, living beyond an accident, and making sure it doesn't happen to anyone else. Let's live out loud with her next. Hello and welcome to Sheila Lives Out Loud. My name is Sheila Moniga. Thank you for catching up with me on this channel. Please click subscribe, watch this video to the end, drop us a comment, and if you've seen something that you like, please share. It's always good to spread some good news, and if you learned something, teach somebody a thing or two. And we are at the waterfront, Karen, a world-class retail and lifestyle destination that's great for a day out with friends and family. It's super for businesses that are just starting, and if you're already established in business and you need a new location that's poppin', this is it. The waterfront, Karen, you've arrived. And we're winding up a 3-part series titled Where It's Not Safe, Our Roads. Susan Wahoo, you are my guest for this conversation, and you're a woman who knows what it's like to be in a road accident. I remember getting your message, and you spoke to me, and I think I had tears in my eyes because reading what you were saying, I could remember being in an accident myself. And it's been several years, but sometimes it feels like it's just happened. And you know, people tell you, but you're okay and life moves on and you're fine. I ended up, you know, with all kinds of bruises around my legs, and I've still got some injuries on the inside. And effects from it included back surgery that happened 2 years ago. And it's all because of an accident that happened many years ago. And I want to talk about your journey. I want to go back to when your accident happened. How long ago was that?
3 years.
Right.
Approximately 3 years. 2015, 20th December.
So tell us about what happened. Where were you going, or where were you coming from?
Well, my mom had just dropped me on the stage, and I was going to buy chicken. So she's like, you have to go buy chicken. I'm like, okay. So are you taking me? She's like, no, I'm dropping you, and then you'll take a job. I'm like, okay. And she drops me. I get into the matatu, and it's just nom-nom at the back. I sit, continue picking people on the stage and more, until excess. You know how matatus are,
Yeah.
excess. And then after, like, how many kilometers after I got into the matatu, it didn't move so far away. It just, like, picked 3 people, or, like, 3 stages, and then people just stopping in, and it got to a point where the matatu is excess. And all I remember, it was just a loud sound. Boom. And at my mind, I'm like, wait a minute. What is happening? And it was so hot. I'm like, what? So in my head, I'm like, okay, I hear screams, I heard a bang, but my mind is still, you know, trying to... I was just asking myself, what is happening?
The thought of an accident doesn't exist in your mind because it doesn't happen to people you know?
For me, it was just, wait a minute, what is that? It's people screaming. And then when I was now back to, oh, and I'm like, damn, there's fire. And in my head, I'm like, where has the fire come from? People stepping on me, and, you know, they're trying to, because this is what happened, the fire, rather, it started from the batteries. You know how matatus are?
Yeah.
Behind, there's some batteries. So that's where it was.
The fire began.
Yeah.
And where were you sitting? Were you in the back of the matatu?
Behind, yes.
Right where the fire was?
Yeah.
Right.
No, the fire started at the front.
At the front, and you were in the back?
At the back.
Okay.
So it's people shouting, and I'm like, it's too hot, I can't breathe, and I'm like, whoa, it's hot air, and trust you me, hot air is just, you can't breathe. So I had a jacket, I had on a dress, and I had like an extra. So what I did immediately, I blocked my nose because of the fumes. Because one of the people, several people who died because of the internal.
The inhalation,
yeah.
and then so it burns on
So
the
for me, it
inside.
was like inhaling, I peep, and what I did, after now I realized, no, this is fire. I can't get out. I saw a dude trying to get out by the exit of the door. And when he was running, because now the matatu had stopped already, when he's running, but flames because of clothes, they're coming out of him. And I'm like, whoa, I'm not going to do that. There's no way I'm going to jump out of, because for him, he thought, now this is the end of us. Or I'm thinking in his head, he was like, it's going to blow up maybe because the fire was too hot. It broke the windows. It's trying. So the matatu, we are covered by fire. Yeah. I chuchuma chini. So I'm like, oh my God, what is that? I peep, and I'm like, no. I peep, and I'm like, no, it's too hot. I see the guy running. I'm like, no. People are stepping on me because I'm tiny. Because for me, I laid down. I was like, no. Because it's too hot. People are stepping on you, and I'm like, and they're coming behind, and there's nowhere we can go. So there was this one dude who broke the emergency door, the one behind there. And they're normally, it was a glass, and I hear it's not supposed to be glass. It's supposed to be something that can just break.
And then it shatters on the outside, not on the inside.
Yes, so he tries to break it. I'm still down. I'm still watching whatever he's doing. People are coming behind because it's too hot at the front. Now at that point, people had started pouring water, and then they were told you're not supposed to...
Yeah, it just fuels the fire.
Yeah, it just it makes it even worse, because the story was someone... Now later when it all happened, the story was someone got into the matatu with a jerrycan of petrol and placed it just next to the batteries. That's so ignorant and all that, but I'm like...
So it wasn't an accident.
No.
It was just somebody being careless.
Yes.
In a matatu.
With a jerrycan of petrol. Place it on the battery, and for in this case, the batteries are supposed to be always inside. There's a way the matatus these days are. But now this one was external, so that's why it's the flames.
Yeah, it sparked everything and it blew up.
And it was boom. So people trying to come at the... That was like a scramble. It's like they are coming behind, but we can't chomoka all of us. It's chaos.
It's almost survival for the fittest. And you wonder, am I going to survive?
So for me, that's why I preferred to just go down, and I'm like, I peep, I wake up a little bit, and then I cover my hand. I'm like, because for me, my face was like, no way, there's no way my face is gonna. And unfortunately, I still got burns on my face, on my hand, on my 2 legs here behind. For me, I tell even my friends, it's like my world stopped for a minute, because I couldn't contemplate what is happening. It's too hot. Like, how did all this happen? So I'm just there. I pay my dues. I'm like, okay, if this is how it's going to end, well, so be it. So immediately I opened my eyes, because I remember at that point now I'm just, yeah.
You'd resigned yourself to whatever's going to happen.
Yeah, because I'm like, but I'm like, no way. My heart was like,
no,
I can't.
It doesn't end like
no,
this.
I'm like, no way. So I immediately finished saying that. I open up my eyes and I see, the windows, how they just...
Yeah, they open this way, right.
So I'm like, whoa, okay. Maybe I can fit there. And if my head can fit there, maybe, I don't know. So immediately I saw the window, I was like...
You jumped out.
I jumped. Well. So when I jump on the other side, I hit, because the bus is high. I hit my shoulder, but on the other side, no, there's a guy who's trying to pull me, because the space is still... Yeah, so it's like a struggle. Tight. So I got the marks that's behind my legs.
Because of the fire. So the fire got your legs as you were being pulled outside.
Yeah. So I get out. I had this is the funny thing. I had a weave, so it was sparkling. You know how weaves are? Yeah. I will never...
Syntheticals.
Right. But I thank God I had that, because I was imagining if I had my own hair, that means my skull.
Yeah.
So I jump, my hair is like ta ta ta. Immediately there's this one guy just ushers me with some... He can't usher me with fire, because it's gonna... And it's petrol. And I'm on fire. I'm like, adrenaline, it hits me. I'm shouting. I'm like, I just almost died. Here's the funny part. I told you I felt like my world stopped, and I was thinking so fast. So at my mind, I was thinking, I am among the last people to get out. So I get out, and the guy's like trying to calm me down. Like, calm down, madam. See what you just... So I try and look wherever I'm like, what? No, the fire even continued, like,
It spread very quickly.
Yes, and the woman who did this after I chomoked, now I'm there, my hair, I'm just like, what is happening? Emergency shock and all that. There's a woman who tried to do the same. So she saw me jump, I think, when she was inside. Yeah. So for her, when she tried to jump, she got stuck. So her upper part of the... So she stuck her legs behind and on the other side. So, and then it is hot. Remember, the fire was channeling out, like... So all of her, like, here, like... I don't know if she has boobs right now because she was told they have to be cut off once all that was done. And we started going for therapy with her. She was among the people, the healing process now. So for her, she alikuwa hapo. So it's a hassle. Kujaribu kumtoa hivi anachomeka miguu. Kujaribu ukimvuta, and she's fat and she just got stuck there. But people tried, and finally she got out. Burnt very badly her legs. And it was just... It was crazy.
Here you are. You've been pulled out of a burning matatu. And you're in the hospital because you were...
The emergency response.
Yeah, you were rushed to...
Mama Lucy.
There you go. So here you are in the hospital. What are the thoughts running through your head?
I almost died. People just died. Because for the guy who ran, I told you there was a guy who ran so quickly.
And he was on fire.
Yeah, so he reached a point he just collapsed. For him, it ended there because it was
too severe.
When he chomoka drew the exit, the fire also caught him because for him, he thought, I'm thinking in his mind, he thought, well, this bus is about to blow up.
I can run away.
Yeah, or this bus is about to blow up, or let me just do what I have to do. But he gets out, the flames because of the clothes, and he's running, that's wind. So it's like flaming up, it's speeding up the reaction. So he reached a point, because now when we were being taken by the emergency response, the ambulance, here's the funny part. I told you I thought I was among the last people too. Yeah. I get out of the matatu and I'm like, whoa, wait. I think I was among the first 8 because the bus was like 32-seater and then plus the excess. Most of the people who died, they were the excess because the fire just, it
just caught them and they were standing right
in its
there.
Face and its ears. And there was the one who just, his face was so badly burnt off. Like, if you could, I tried looking at him, but I'm like, no.
The recovery process, you've made mention of it several times. Yeah. What was that like? Who was walking with you? Who stepped in to help all of you? Or was it something you all figured out as a group of survivors?
It reached a point where now everyone had to go their own ways. Because as much as we are coming to the group, you're battling when you go home, like, because most of the people were parents, like they're adults. So if you go home, you have your own challenge, I don't know, probably your children, or everyone handled their situation differently. So it reached a point where we didn't meet anymore. We were like, I hope, we like wished everyone the best and we just parted ways. Because as much as we would want to like even build up a case or go, you know, like where was this guy with a jerrycan of petrol? It reached a point and he was like, nah, do I really want to do this? Nah. So we talk, but it wasn't like, no, that meeting, it just reached a point, some just really got to them so much. They just was like, it's like your life just upside down.
Yeah. Yeah.
So after a while, we parted ways. The healing points, well, the process, I lost a lot of friends. Because now my face, you can imagine, because I stayed in hospital for like how months? It was 4.
4 months?
4 months straight up, medicine, pain, being washed, being taken. You can't do anything. 4 months is just like, for me, it sounded like and even after that, the recovery process for me, it happened in 2015. It has taken me like how many years? 3 years even for me to talk like this, even without some tears trying to pop
I'm
up.
loving how strong you are because, and I think I can understand why, because in the second part of this series, we were talking to Dr. Ocharo, and he's a psychologist and a counselor. He speaks to people. He is so good at his work. And one of the things he was telling us about recovery is that if you can see funny things, if you can find things to laugh about your situation, even no matter how difficult it is,
Just
you're
laugh
well
it
on
off.
the road
Yeah.
to recovering.
Yeah.
When you've just locked yourself up in a room and you're just going back and forth about all those
messes you
things,
up.
then chances of not coming out of that hole.
And that's what I did for I couldn't go outside. If I'm going outside, it's at night. Because I remember I tried going outside. I was like, okay, since I'm healing, let me try and just go out of the estate, go buy some credit and then come back. And you know, human beings can be so mean. So part of my face, it looked like I had bleached, or I don't know, my birthmark was not, I have birthmark. So part of it wasn't even there, so it looks like I bleached and then it backfires. So I remember I'm walking, and then you know how boda guys are always on a corner. So I'm waiting for the matatu so that I can cross on the other side. And one says, hey, ati, ebu check you, ni kama now he says, I tried to bleach and it backfired.
And that's the thing about things that we don't understand. Anything we see or perceive to be different from what we know always becomes the subject of ridicule, number one, or fascination, or just a combination of both. But in terms of losing friendships, why was that? What do you think spurred that? Is it that you had very many fake friends who were all about superficial? Or what happened?
Well,
Where did they go? Why do you think you lost friends?
They lost me because I really shut
Snap.
down. I shut down, and I'm imagining if they were really my friends, they would have, you know, tried. But for me, I was like, I cut everyone out, and as much as I did that, I needed to do that for my healing process because I was like, my face, for me, it was not even my hand, it was just like, oof.
You
And
just didn't look like who you knew you were.
Exactly. I hated mirrors. I had to make all... In our house, there was no mirror around. I was like, how we would go down the stairs, I'm like, hey, Mom, this mirror. But they had to like really unscrew them. And for a while, I was like, I can't. But with time and just acceptance, because now it reached a point, I'm like, fine, it happened. What am I going to do? I'm not going to just sit in my room, read books, or see what people are doing out there with their lives. I have to find a way of moving back
and living your life, because the things that you have to achieve.
Exactly.
And you're still here, the things that life needs you to see and do.
Yeah. So for me, it was more of a decision I had to make. And first things first, I'm a firstborn. So as much as I could have felt weak, or I didn't want them to see me like that. So for me, for them, they motivated me. My brother, oh God, he used to come to my room. I'm like, I don't want to see anybody. He's like, no, open. I'm like, he's like, he brings food.
Good man.
He's like, no, by the way, it's healing. He's like, you're just lying, but it's healing. And I'm like,
you can't see it.
I can't see it, and especially for my face. But I thank God because the doctors, my dad, and especially my dad, he really did his best bringing doctors even from India because of my face. Because it was gross, it looked like it's not even gonna heal, it's peeling,
Right. It was just difficult. But in finding purpose, in moving on, you decided you're going to help people who've gone through difficulties from accidents.
Yeah.
Tell us about that initiative.
So the initiative, for now, I decided it's going to be more of awareness. We have to, because ignorance is what is killing us. Ignorance is killing us. And it sounds so normal, but yes, ignorance is what is killing us out here. Because how will you know a bus is a 32-seater. You still want to sit on that saucer, and you don't know that bus is meant for 32 people. If it exceeds one, there's a possibility. You've compromised. You've compromised. Let's stop taking these things for granted.
Right.
Once I've done the awareness, and I feel like, it's really out there, then I'm trying to do events, giving back now. This is whereby if I do an event, if I get maybe some of the funds, because like me, I'm very lucky. My dad really, financially, he really came through. I remember when I went to hospital at Metropolitan, and then I was later transferred to Aga Khan. When I was at Metropolitan, there was a woman who was next to me. She was in the accident, but I remember she had to go home because she couldn't afford to sustain the dressing of the wounds, right, and everything that comes with having a wound. So she had to go back home. She did try to do some fundraising, but still it wasn't enough. So I'm thinking once the foundation is on, and I'm really praying that it's going to be, that's my main focus. At least help someone out there. It's not easy, and especially the healing point. You'll be surprised we have like how many psychologists in Kenya, unless they've increased. The last time, which was like early this year, that's when I did my research. There are like 19 of them, 19 psychologists, like really who can really talk. So we need also people, the young generation, stop like looking at this job. They're like, how will you even study psychology? Let's just do whatever. Everybody's doing business courses. No. Yeah. We need more of these people, because if there are 19 of them, then imagine how many.
There's a need. And how many clients are each one
and
seeing?
They're always so expensive, because I remember I had to see one, and I was seeing mine at Nairobi Hospital. Right. And per session, oh my God.
It was quite hefty.
And I'm imagining not everyone can afford this, not because the healing point, it reaches a point you're like, wow. And especially if you end up losing people in your life, you're like, wow, where do I even start? Will I even get new friends? But through all this time, if there's something that I really held on, was God. God really came through for me. He is still coming through for me, because I wouldn't be here if it was not for him. So for me, it really came through. I was still born again, even before the accident. But now, even more after the accident, I was really like, whoa, that was God giving me a second chance. And he doesn't do that very oftenly, because for me, even seeing that window, it was like magic, because I remember I'm like a window, and I'm like, I didn't even think twice, because the heat was so...
It was intense.
Yes.
But you're here today, and you're setting off into the great unknown with purpose and a passion and a God who loves you. So I think you're going to be just fine.
Yeah, I will be just fine.
For those who are recovering, somebody could be watching this and they're really going through it, and they don't think anybody understands. Yeah. But you've been there, and you know what that's like. What would you like to say to them to encourage them?
You have to find it within yourself to really say, you know what, it happened. It's okay. Accept it. Find a way of moving. Find something you like doing. Like for me, I started I write a lot. So I was just writing, and I started giving myself a chance. I was like, no, I had to work on me. So even if you're going through something, you won't expect courage to come from your mother. Your mom will just tell you the normal stuff, and she'll encourage you, but it's an inside job. You have to really find it within yourself to say, you know what, Susan, it happened. I have to move on. And find people, or like for me, I really shut down people, which was okay. It was just my way of handling it. But if now that I know better, I wouldn't have not. Allow them. Don't enclose yourself so much. Allow people to help you. Allow people to ask you questions, because I used to get so agitated. I'm like, so what happened? I'm like,
I don't want to go through it over and over and over again.
It's okay, and it's a healing process also. That's talking about it. I didn't realize it, but the more I found it comfortable telling it to people, the more I didn't even cry, the more I didn't even feel like, oh, I'm reliving it over again. So with time and talking about it, share, and
it loses its power over you.
Yes, and it's funny, because now when I started telling the story, you find I encourage someone else. They're like, you went through that. Whatever I'm going through is nothing. So I'm like, I found I'm encouraging people. I'm like, So it even continued giving me more ideas about the initiative. I was like, I have to do this. This is also my way of telling God thank you, because how I saw that window until date, I'm like, it was a window. Or it could be, there was no even window, but I just jumped on the other side. So this is my way of telling God thank you, and I have to do it, and I'm going to do it. And I hope with time, I'm going to accomplish it.
They say God opens doors, but he also opens windows. In your case, you got a window. Some people are looking for doors, but you got a window.
well. We thank God. We thank God.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing that story with us. What is the name of the initiative?
It's Wahundonga Foundation.
Oh, okay. Wahundonga Foundation. Thank you so much for making the time to share your story with us. We wish you all the very best.
Thank you.
We're going to share the foundation social media handles on all my social media handles so you can inspire, you can encourage, and most importantly, you can also give back.
Yep. It's more fun.
Yeah. And that winds up our 3-part series titled Where It's Not Safe, Our Roads. Susan, you're an amazing woman. We wish you all the very best. Be sure to check out my social media sites for those handles that we've just talked about. And while you're here, subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Drop us a comment and hit notifications so you can catch up with next week's episode. We've been living out loud at the waterfront Karen, a world-class destination for retail and lifestyle. The waterfront Karen, you've arrived. Till next week, live out loud in all you do. Bye.
Bye.